this is what I have for myself. I have a checklist of all the documents that, the ones that we always need to get. And then as, based off every year, I add to the list on, what we're looking for. And one thing too with your taxes, you can, if you do them yourself, you can break it up. So once I get my W-2, I put it in. My wife gets her W-2, I put it in. I put it in, as we get it. I don't just wait one time to do it all, because that can be a lot. All right, take the stress out of taxes. Young filers should start by making a list of necessary documents to form their own guide, which can be used this year and in the future, says Piano Forte. Also, too, ChatGPT is a great way to at least make a checklist, right? Just multiple ways to source information. All right, here we go. We're going to relearn the main documents you'll need to find, right? A W-2. Okay, this is, if you filled out a W-4, you're going to get a W-2. It's that simple. The first form you'll want to collect, right, is your W-2, or wage and tax statement. You'll receive a W-2 from your employer if you worked for a paycheck or earned at least $600 in 2023. This form reports income your employer paid you, as well as how much it withheld in taxes. Real quick on they'll probably get into the 1099 you receive from your bank, or your 1099-INT. That's the interest. If you made over $10, I believe, in interest, your bank is required to send you that form. Now, you're supposed to technically put, I believe, any interest you made on there and all, but your bank's not going to send it to you unless it's over $10, I believe. It might be $10 or greater than or equal to $10. And that's just the interest that accrued in your bank account from, it just having money in there. They'll send you that. This W-2 is the main one that most are going to have. W-2 or 1099, depending if you're self-employed or a contractor or not. And again, when it comes to your W-4 and taxes, right? Since we're talking about taxes, again, not financial advice. I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not in a CPA, not accountant, nothing like that. But I can explain to you when I do my taxes, and how I prepare for things throughout the year. So your W-4 is what you fill out. That's the federal form for your taxes or your withholdings, however you want to look at it. The W-4 is going to, ask you about if you're, single, or if you're married, based off what tax filing status you want to do, or you can do married filing separately, or you can do head of household, right? Those are the four major ones they're going to talk about to see if you have any dependents, right? So the child tax credit. And for those people who have more than one job, or you're going to do married filing jointly, and your spouse is working as well, they're going to give you information on how to make sure that the right amount of taxes are taken out of your check versus your spouse's check if you're the person that makes more, has the higher income, so that when you get to tax filing year, while tax filing season is over, because it's May 24th, we're in May now, but so that the right amount of taxes, or as close to, right, in theory, right, these forms, they're not perfect, obviously, when it comes to taxes. That's why 25% of Gen Zers are struggling when it comes to taxes, or need a therapist. That form is to get you as close as possible to the return, or to make sure you get the refund that you want, or how much you want. Remember, you can never get too big of a refund, in the sense of you can never send the government too much money, but you can get penalized if you end up owing the government too much money. But in this case, the W-4 is for the federal. Then for those people who pay state taxes, every state form is different. In Maryland, it's the MDW 507, I believe it is. That's just the state form. It's essentially the state version of the W-4 for those of us who pay state taxes. It's going to be the same thing that you got to fill out, essentially. Ask you about your exemptions. At least in Maryland, ask about your exemptions. It might be a different verbiage in other states, but the same general thing. So those forms are what you're going to use to get your taxes withheld, and hopefully, as close to, again, whatever you want from a refund or an O standpoint for those. So you want to make sure, not too much is taken out of their check, but also too, you want to make sure that you look at your paycheck and actually see the taxes that are coming out after you fill out these forms, and then cross-represent with the IRS.gov. The IRS has a tax calculator. They're going to give a whole bunch of warnings, let you know it's an estimate, but you can go on the IRS website, and they have a calculator, and going to ask you about your income, for you to pull up your pay stub, all these different type of things, fill it out, and they're going to let you know what your expected refund or how much you're going to owe is going to be. Then on top of that, you can go to ADP A as in Apple, D as in David, P as in Peter, ADP.com, and look up their paycheck calculator. And you can go in there and sort of put that information in from the W-4 and or from your state form if you also pay state taxes. And you can see that, put exactly what it is, and ask you about your health insurance, your dental, your vision, how much you're putting into retirement if you're doing that, and then your exemption at the state level, your tax filing status, married, violent joint, single, all those different type of things, and it's going to tell you how much your paycheck is going to be. Now you're going to use these two calculators, because then what you can do is, okay, you see how much your paycheck is based, and the ADP calculators within the penny now, I believe, because now they have it so that if you live in a particular state, they're going to make sure they put all the way down to your county level, not just the city that you live in, but make sure you put your county in there, and that should give you within the penny or pennies or a few dollars of what your paycheck actually is that you're receiving in your bank account. Then when you go over to the IRS website, they're going to tell you if you're going to get a refund or you're going to owe, and they're going to let you know what you need to do to, I believe they let you know, if you want to get a smaller refund, then you need to, make these adjustments. And if you want to owe less, then you need to make these adjustments. Then you can go back to ADP and you can make those adjustments into the ADP calculator, and then they'll turn out what your projected new paycheck is going to be. So you can actually see what your paycheck is going to be before actually making the change with your HR department or however you do it at your employer, and then getting that money like, nah, I know, I think I'd rather just, save my money on the side. And for taxes I'm going to owe this year versus actually having my paycheck reduced to this amount. The ADP calculator will actually allow you to see that paycheck before it actually hits your bank account, as far as, because it's just a calculator, so you don't have to actually make that change. All right. And again, for the person said we do negative video, this is what I talk about. We give answers over here. All right. Look, I ain't one of them type of people. Did I take offense to it? I'm not going to say I take offense. I say I'm a CSP. I got my CPST, certified professional shit talker. I'm not the one. Okay. I'm not the one. I'm really like this in real life. Okay. As Drake said, what, trigger fingers, Twitter fingers, whatever it is. I'm really like, can I say trigger? Anyways, freaking YouTube. I'm really like this in real life. This is not an internet thing. This is not a video podcast thing. This is not a word via text thing. If you talk to me in person, I'm really like this. So, beware for those of y'all leaving comments. Anyways, employers are required by the Internal Revenue Service to mail out W-2s by January 31st. But if you don't have a paper copy of the form, don't worry. Some employers also make W-2s available online via your HR department or payroll processor, says Piano Forte. Yeah, if you use ADP, I don't say they're the largest, but they're a very large payroll, I guess, processor system, or whatever you want to call it. But, your job will give you a login, and you'll be able to see, download your W-2 form from there, as soon as it's available. And that's before usually you get sent in the mail from your employer. All right. If you still don't have your W-2 from your employer, contact them. Make sure they have the right address on file. Yeah, I would. If you don't have a system to log into to see, download your W-2, I would say February, Valentine's Day, the middle of February is the latest I would wait if you haven't received your W-2 yet. Also, too, your company should be contacting you, giving you updates about, hey, we're working on your W-2s, getting them sent out. Like they should be making updates, sending out, to the mass email, letting everybody know the status of it, because that's just part of HR/accounting's responsibility to keep people updated on their W-2s.